Hello viewers, how are you all doing? Today I'm asking a question. What does Dangote really want, guys? What does he want?
When we got in there, people now start saying, monopoly, monopoly, so, and this is really very disheartening when people keep talking about all this monopoly, monopoly. Monopoly, is this only when you stop people, you block them through legal means or whatever. No, it's a, level playing field.
Recorded in 2005, the former President Olusegun Obasanjo encouraged the local production of cement. The manager of Ibeto Group then promised to flood the country with a lot of cement, of which they fulfilled their promise, which didn't augur well with Dangote. Wrote a petition to then President Olusegun Obasanjo for the automatic withdrawal of license of Ibeto's group. Obasanjo then gave a directive for Ibeto to stop importing cement, thereby giving only Dangote the license to import cement. When late President Musa Umaru Yar'Adua succeeded Obasanjo in 2007, in July 2007, Ibeto applied for import allocation and it was granted. Yet again, Ibeto flooded the country with quality cement. Dangote Group quickly filed a suit against Ibeto, seeking that Ibeto's group is getting undue advantage. Meanwhile, Dangote doesn't just want to see Ibeto to stand up as far as cement production is concerned in Nigeria. He has always taken the guy to court. This brings me to the another emergence of Dangote Refinery. It is no longer in news that Dangote has been crying out over the alleged non-suppliers of crude oil to his newly built refinery.
His refinery is supposed to help Nigeria reduce its reliance on fuel importation. It's also supposed to help the country save up to 30% of foreign exchange spent on importing products. All this is in jeopardy with difficulties in sourcing crude oil. Dangote says companies are either demanding outrageous premiums before agreeing to supply crude or simply claiming the product is unavailable. Also, the Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority has alleged that Dangote Refinery is supplying substandard products. The refinery says that's not the case.
Victim card Aliko Dangote is trying to play will not work, because at the end of the day, he will still have to buy from the international traders that our IOCs have supplied crude to. Now, this is how these things work. The crude oil is lifted from the ground by oil companies. Now, Nigeria takes 60% through NNPC. Now, the oil companies keeps the 40%. But as this law that has been enacted, that for whatever reason, if Nigeria should need that 40% of those oil companies, they will settle NNPC first before exporting the crude oil out, because you cannot be exporting our crude meanwhile we're in need of crude. It's not possible. So you said to us first before you export out, or you sell or do whatever you wish with it. You understand? But now these oil companies have signed a contract deal with other companies that they will be supplying them crude. Now Dangote just surfaced and trying to force NUPRC to enforce IOC to begin to supply crude to him. It doesn't work that way. There has to be due process. You have to follow the queue, or you have to negotiate and sign a deal with those IOCs. Nigeria is not about you every time. There are others who also need to be considered. Nigerian populace also need to be considered. It is not about you every time. Everything is virtually about Dangote. Dangote sugar, Dangote oil, Dangote cement, Dangote this, Dangote that. Now, oil. It is due to the inconsistency in our policy making. That was what made the CEO of Total Energy, Patrick Pouyan, during the African CEO meeting in Kigali, Rwanda. He said that the reason why they choose Angola over Nigeria for a $6 billion project is because of our inconsistency in our policy making. Do you know what $6 billion could have done to our economy? Do you know that dollar could have come down from whatever it is now to 500 naira or less? Gradually, all the potential investors are leaving the country. How do you now run the country? Why can't the economy shrink? Why can't things be hard? Because you're not making your country comfortable for investors to come in. Now, this is a press release from Dangote PLC. It says, our attention has been drawn to media reports alleging that Dangote Refinery has backtracked by acknowledging that NNPC supplied about 60% of the 50 million barrel we lifted. To clarify, we have never accused NNPC of not supplying us with crude. Our concern has always been NUPRC's reluctance to enforce the domestic crude supply obligation and ensure that we receive full crude requirement from NNPC and the IOCs. For September, our requirement is 15 cargoes, of which NNPC allocated 6. Despite appealing to NUPRC, we have been unable to secure the remaining cargoes. When we approached IOCs producing in Nigeria, they redirected us to their international trading arms or responded that their cargoes were committed. Consequently, we often purchase the same Nigerian crude from international traders at an additional 3 to 4 premium per barrel, which translates to $3 to $4 million per barrel. We therefore insist that we are unable to secure our full crude requirement from domestic production and urge NUPRC to fully enforce the domestic crude supplying obligation as mandated by PIA. This is coming from Dangote. Obviously, the man just wants to gain monopoly over everything. Now he's trying to blackmail NUPRC to force IOCs to begin to supply crude to them, even though any contract signed with them. Like I said before, everything is not about you. There are other business people too who should be considered. You want to gain monopoly over everything, which is not good for our economy. Thank you, viewers. My name remains Noel Akam Jr. Do follow us on all our social media platforms. Like and share this video.